Hello and welcome into this week's edition of the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series Rewind Show right here on Racing News Now. As always, I'm your host, Garth Allen. Thank you once again for joining me today. If this is your first time catching a Racing News Now video, consider going down below to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing going forward from R&N. On today's Cup Rewind, we're looking back at Sunday's 22nd annual Pennzoil 400 presented by Jiffy Lube. 267 laps, 400.5 miles around the 1.5-mile Las Vegas Motor Speedway in Las Vegas, Nevada. If you're somebody that likes carnage and wrecks, this was not the race for you. There were no cautions in this race outside of the stage break, so 2 cautions for a total of 12 laps. Stage 1 concluded at lap 80. Stage 1 winner was Kevin Harvick. Stage 2 concluded at lap 160. Stage 2 went to Joey Logano. We did have 19 lead changes in this race among 9 drivers. Very close as to who led the most laps in this race. Kevin Harvick eked it out with 88 laps led. Joey Logano just shy of that with 86 laps led in this race. 23 laps went to Kurt Busch. 21 laps to William Byron, 17 laps to Brad Keselowski, 13 laps were led by Kyle Busch, 12 laps to Daniel Suarez, 5 laps went to Ricky Stenhouse, and 2 laps were led by Austin Dillon. Alright, so let's get into your results on this race. Not a lot happened in this race. There was some good racing. This race was a bit different than I think a lot of us thought it was going to be. That being said, it looked very similar to Atlanta last week. We just kind of had the pack last a little bit longer than Atlanta, which was expected since the tire fall off lasts a little bit longer at Vegas than it does at Atlanta, being that Vegas has been paved more recently. So overall, it was... I didn't see a lot of difference in this race and last year's Vegas race. It was relatively the same. The cars were physically closer together, but in terms of closer racing, I don't know that we really got that. I don't know that we exactly got what NASCAR was promising out of this package. It wasn't bad racing, but I wouldn't say it was really any better than what it has been. It looked very similar to the fall race from last year, just without the wrecks. Nevertheless, though, we had a really good battle for the win at the end of the race between Team Penske teammates Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski. Joey Logano ended up picking up the victory in this one. His first of the season, his first in his title defense season, keeping Brad from picking up 2 in a row, but they did get a 1-2 finish for Team Penske in this race. Kyle Busch there in third. Kevin Harvick also very strong on the day, finished in the 4th position. Kurt Busch rounded out the top 5. Rest of your top 10 were Ricky Stenhouse, Eric Almirola, Martin Truex, Chase Elliott, and Denny Hamlin. As we look down here, 11th through 20th, Alex Bowman came in the 11th position. Larson 12th, Eric Jones was 13th. Clint Boyer landed in the 14th position. William Byron, Daniel Suarez both led laps on the day, but they ended up far back in the lead lap, 16th and 17th for them. Jimmy Johnson very off on the day, the last of the Hendrick cars in the running order. First car 1 lap down, 19th for Jimmy Johnson in this race. And then Austin Dillon kind of surprises me here a little bit too, and you also haven't seen Daniel Hemrick on this rundown yet. We talked about both of them on the preview show, how they were both the 2 fastest cars in practice, both in single car runs and in 10-lap averages, and they dropped like rocks almost immediately at the beginning of this race, which was very weird to see given that they had so much speed in practice. I figured they'd at least be up there top 10 capable cars at the very least, and they weren't. It was very surprising. 21st through 30th, Matt DiBenedetto, 21st on the day. Ryan Blaney, more pit road issues costing him a decent finish. 22nd for Ryan Blaney. Daniel Hemrick, we see him here 2 laps down in 23rd. We talked about RCR's woes on the day. Ryan Newman, his teammate, was fast. Finished in 6th, did Ricky Stenhouse, but Ryan Newman just kind of off all day. He finished in 24th. Bubba Wallace down here in the 26th position. And final page, 31st through 38th. All right, so that is your results from the Pennzoil 400. So let's head over to the media center and we'll see what Joey and the rest of his team had to say after this win.
Well, I think, really it's about where you are in the stage with your tires. And, basically if you want to run fast, I think on Friday and Saturday you might have a different car than you do in the race. And I think people are starting to see that. But clean air is – every car likes that when they get out front. But I think the key thing today in the package that nobody got out more than 3 or 4 seconds. There were some pit stops where people were out there. But to me, it shows that you don't have to – you can be the leader, but also you can be behind and catch up. And I think that's key for us. And to me, it's execution in the pits. And I think our engineering team back in Mooresville has really done a good job from an aero standpoint. And obviously the Roush Yates engines today were there. You could see that when we were, dicing with the other guys. But, overall, it's 2 weeks in a row. I'm probably biased right now. I checked the box. Say I love the package. Maybe not next week, but so far so good.
Yeah, I think it's just a learning process as to what we got. But what phenomenal racing! We're part of it in several places, but raced the 18 pretty hard. Swapped the lead with him. Raced the 4 pretty hard, and even our teammate. And just what a kudos to the aero package and where it's gone. I think the racetrack got really wide today. Something that's really cool because you see cars going all over the place, and it made the end of the race pretty exciting. And how we handle lap traffic, it's still it's what you've got to look forward to. And Joey did a great job of keeping eyes forward to what lane guys were running and where he could go with it. So something that it's part of the racing deal.
Yeah, it's an amazing accomplishment. Texas Terry, man, that was I remember growing up and I had a Terry Labonte diecast, but they're like, remember they made the bigger ones? I had one, and I thought that was really cool. I was always about the Frosted Flakes, man. So that was really neat to think that I'm even on the same stage that he raced at one point. And I didn't get raced against him a whole bunch, but it is an amazing accomplishment. It's something that I look at actually quite frequently to see where you stack up between all these great racers. So that is something I pay attention to. It's an honor to be tied with him now, and try to get another one. Keep going. The good thing is I got quite a few more races left in me, so hopefully we can keep grabbing them and keep moving up there. I'm not sure I'll get to the top of it, but I can keep trying to chip away at it and keep moving up. That's pretty cool.
We'll go next to Jerry, then to Mark, then to David.
Texas Jerry from Jordan, kickingthetires.net.
Very good. Very good. Number 1 dad joke so far. Keep going.
You're in car. After the race, you were deciding on where to do your burnout. I heard them say, "Welcome to the playoffs," but you were debating on whether or not to tear up the landscaping out there with the Pennzoil logo.
Oh, there was no debate. I was going to tear up the landscaping here. The talk was last night we had a big Pennzoil dinner, and the talk was that I was going to do some donuts in the grass at the end of the race. At the end of the race, not during the race. And so to be able to do that was super cool. Great photo op, but I'm all about the Big Smoky burnout. So I said, well, I got to do the Big Smoky burnout first. And I also didn't want to go through the grass and have the splitter dig in and completely destroy everything and go flipping. I thought I just saw it going wrong in my mind. So I said, I'm going to do a cool burnout, which I thought was super cool. I don't know if you guys saw it, but I got dizzy, and that was neat. And then I made a couple donuts in the grass. That was cool. It's I got to go drifting with Vaughn for a while. The last, I've done it for the last few years here, but just over time with that Cup car that we've made as a drift car, and so I'm getting good at it. I'm getting good at the burnout, so I gotta show my skills off a little bit when we win. Yeah, that was more intense than I wanted it to be. There's been plenty of times here where we've led a lot of laps, and by the stats, this is probably our best racetrack or close to it, and we've never won. And that's the most important stat to have. And usually something happens the last run, and Brad gets a little better, and for some reason his last pit stop they make a good change, and he becomes the fastest car and he wins. And he's done that here plenty of times. And I looked in the mirror. I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is happening again! I can't believe it!" And he's able to get by me, and I was like, "Oh, I hope this didn't happen. I can, keep trying to get in front of him again." And was able to get a run on a lap car and be able to work down into the corner and be able to clear him. but I burnt my tires off so bad trying to get back in front of him that I was just working so hard inside the car trying to maintain the gap. And I was in a good shape, and then I caught a lap car, and he went up into the top lane, which is where I was running. And I followed him right in there, and I was like, oh, no. And I just lost a ton of time, and then brought Brad close enough to where he can catch a draft off of me to close up the rest of the gap. And I thought, man, good thing this thing's 400 miles. I just told the Pennzoil people, let's not make this race any longer. That was just the right length. 405 would have been a little bit too long. So it is cool, though. I remember sitting up here on the stage when they announced Pennzoil was going to be the sponsor for this race, and how important it was for me to win this thing. So it's cool to be able to deliver for them.
All right, so let's take a look at your playoff grid. 3 races into the season before wrapping up here today. 3 drivers now locked into the playoffs, those being Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin, and Brad Keselowski. Those are your 3 winners thus far this season. Not a lot has changed here on the playoff grid. Some drivers moving a little higher than they were before. Again, it's very early to be looking at this, so I mean, we don't want to spend a lot of time on this in the beginning of the season, but I think it is good to just flash it up here real quick to look at it. We now have 3 Hendrick drivers in playoff positions, and interestingly enough, Jimmy Johnson is the only Hendrick driver on the outside looking in at the moment for the playoffs. Again, we're 3 races into the season, but might be a slight cause for concern if you are a Jimmy Johnson fan. But that is a quick look at your playoff grid following the Pennzoil 400, and I believe that'll do it for us tonight. We had, what do we have? 3 other rewind shows go up this weekend. One for the K&N West season opener from the Las Vegas Dirt Track, Truck Rewind, and Xfinity Rewind for both of their races from Vegas. And then, of course, Pole Position premiering will end up being tonight by the time this goes up, Monday evening at 8 p.m. to quickly recap you on everything that happened this weekend, not just the NASCAR stuff, but everything from really any major form of motorsports that we cover. That'll be there to quickly recap you on everything that happened this weekend. I know we have World of Outlaws stuff to talk about on that. I'm not sure what else we have to talk about, but I know we have NASCAR stuff and World of Outlaws. So there's a little bit different there that you may not have seen in the rewind shows, or if you didn't catch some of the rewind shows, that's where Pole Position comes in to quickly catch you up on everything else that happened over the weekend. But we will be back live at the track this coming weekend. ARCA having their second race of the season at Five Flag Speedway, Pensacola, Florida. We will be there for you, giving you live coverage from that event this coming Saturday evening, March 9th. So keep an eye out for that. We'll be at the track all day, giving you updates from drivers and the such as they get ready for the ARCA Pensacola 200. So with that coming up, if you haven't done it already, you need to go down below, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing going forward from R&N. Like I said, we got a lot of big stuff coming up, including that live coverage from Pensacola this weekend, so you'll definitely want to be subscribed for that and have that bell rung so you get your notifications. And while you're down there, why don't you hit that big thumbs up button if you like the video? It is much appreciated when you do that. It really is. It helps us out so much when you do that. It just lets YouTube know that you do enjoy the content that you see here on R&N. And it lets us know that you enjoy what you see. That way we know what we are putting out is what you want to see. But at that, this has been the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series Rewind Show. I'm Garth Allen for Racing News Now.